One of the biggest misconceptions about MBA admissions is that there's a single most important part of the application. Some people think it's the test score. Others think it's the essays. The most successful applications aren't built around one standout piece. They succeed because each part is strong on its own and the pieces work together. So instead of asking what matters most, it can be much more helpful to think about how the 5 major parts of an MBA application work together to tell your story. First, your stats. This is your test score and your GPA. These numbers matter because they help schools predict whether you'll be able to succeed academically, especially during the rigorous first year of the MBA. Schools want evidence that you can handle the quantitative and analytical work in the classroom. And let's call a spade a spade. The numbers also matter because they're reported in schools' averages, which affect schools' rankings. Schools want their average GMAT, GRE, and GPA scores to be strong. These numbers signal the academic caliber of the program and help these programs climb in the rankings. So if you can give the school an above average GPA or an above average test score, or even better, an above average score for both, you are giving the school something that it wants. Second key area of the application is the resume. A business school resume is very different from a professional one. Very, very different. You're not simply showing that you can do a job, because with a business school, you're not being hired into a specific role. So this is not about listing the responsibilities that you've had. Instead, you want to demonstrate leadership, initiative, and your ability to drive impact. Admissions committees will be asking questions like, where have you stepped forward? Where have you influenced others? Where have you improved something or driven results? They're also reading for trajectory. Are you progressing? Are you earning promotions or placing at the top of your class? Are you taking on more and more responsibility? Are you someone that organizations trust with bigger challenges over time? In just one page, that resume becomes a snapshot of your professional story. The third key section is the essays, and this is where schools actually get to understand who you are, your motivations, your values, the experiences that shaped you, and really crucially, how you've made an impact on the organizations around you. These are the stories that only you can tell. The essays bring color and personality to the application. Strong essays aren't just reflective, they're also revealing. They show how you think, how you process experiences, and what drives the choices that you've made along the way. 2 applicants might have very, very similar resumes, but their essays can reveal completely different people. And that's why essays are often where an application really comes to life, and a place where you want to be as introspective as you possibly can, and also why AI can be a really useful tool, but sometimes a tool that sets you back. I would say an essay is really not the ideal place to be using AI. The fourth key part of the application are the short answers in the application itself. Many applicants leave these until the very last minute and just scramble around putting whatever information they want in there. But I would think about this as being a really crucial additional part of your application. Whether it's Harvard asking you about accomplishments and challenges and asking you to rank order your accomplishments, or whether it's Stanford asking you about your activities, every single character in every single word is an opportunity to add context to your story by sharing the specific information that's most important to you. Sometimes these short answers are actually where admissions committees pick up the most interesting details about a candidate. So don't wait until the end of a long application process to tackle them. Make sure you give them the attention they deserve. Fifth, letters of recommendation. Applicants often think of their letters as reference letters or performance reviews, but approaching the recommendations in that way won't help you. Your recommendation needs to come from true advocates, people who've seen you in action and who can explain why you're a cut above the rest. The strongest letters don't just say that you're smart or that you're hardworking. They'll give a specific story about how you lead, how you influence others, and what makes you distinctive. Choosing the right recommender and giving them the time and the guidance the recommender needs takes strategy. A great recommendation can absolutely tip an application in your favor. In my opinion, the recommendation is actually one of the most important parts of the application. It's often overlooked, and in a field of applicants who can look very similar in terms of their test scores, in terms of their resume, your recommendation is one way that you can really, really stand out. You want an advocate, you want somebody who's going to say that you walk on water. And so I would encourage you to think about the recommendation as being not the least important part of your application, but in fact, one of the most crucial, especially if you're coming from a very competitive pool like consulting, banking, private equity, tech. So the takeaway is there isn't one single component that determines the outcome of your application. The strongest applications are the ones where every single piece of the story reinforces who you are and just simply adds another dimension to your application. The goal is to help the admissions committee understand what you'll be bringing to the classroom and to the community. At the end of the day, admissions officers are not evaluating just individual pieces of an application, they're evaluating the person. And so the more that you can bring those pieces together to represent who you are, the better off you'll be.